behind me is the sales process, and actually I realize right now when I'm seeing it on camera that you actually cannot read it, so it's gonna stay a little bit of a secret. You're gonna have to watch this video to actually learn what this is saying. In the last 3 years, I've directly been responsible for selling over $8 million in online info product sales, online coaching programs, high ticket coaching programs, masterminds, digital marketing. Any single service that is really being sold online that people are selling, I've been directly responsible in helping some of the biggest names that you might know, working with them, and directly selling $8 million over a 3-year time frame using this simple formula. And when you understand this simple formula, and we're going to run down it together, but when you understand this simple formula, you're literally going to be able to take it, you're going to be able to run with it, and you're going to be able to do the same or maybe even more for yourself, because the first few years I still had to figure it out. Now, what a lot of coaches in the industry are trying to teach you is they trying to teach you the hard works. They're trying to teach you the strategies. They're trying to teach you the techniques. And when you focus on learning the techniques, a big problem that you're going to make, a massive problem when you just focus on techniques, is you're never going to know why what you're doing works. So when it doesn't work anymore, you're fucked. And if you don't want to be fucked, if you don't like to be fucked, I don't like to be fucked, maybe you like to be fucked. If you don't like to be fucked, this is the shit you got to learn. When you understand how this works, you're going to effortlessly allow yourself to sell millions of dollars online, make more money than you know what to do with, travel to about 8 countries over the last few, months, and really enjoy life. You know, live the life. You're in entrepreneurship not because you want to save the world. Maybe you do. That's great. I don't. I just want to have freedom. I want to enjoy my time here. Everything starts, and you cannot read it. So I'm going to tell you what it says, and you can make a note. I have a box here that says status. All influence and persuasion, any single time someone buys something, it's a game of status. Status is number one. The reason you buy an iPhone is because of the status it has. The reason you want a Lamborghini is because of the status it has. Usually you don't buy a Toyota because of a status play. You buy it because you don't have enough money to buy the car you actually want to own, right? What does status consist of? Good question, Mr. Mike. Status basically is authority. You have status when you have authority. How do you get authority? Authority is a combination of 3 factors. These 3 need to be present for authority to take place. Number 1 is trust. You need to have trust. People need to trust that you can do what you say you got to do. They don't need to trust you as a person. I don't trust Tim Cook as a person. I wouldn't turn my back on him, but I trust him to make my phone. I trust him to keep supplying me with good electronical products that I'm definitely overpaying for, but I trust him to do so. Number 2 is conviction. I'm convicted in the product. I'm convicted in Apple. I'm convicted by them. I know that they're the best. You know, I know that they deliver quality. It's a combination. Trust and conviction are a little bit different, but they're very similar. I have conviction, belief. The last is respect. When you respect someone, you look up to them. Authorities are always respected. Think about, police is a bad example, but think about authorities in your life, right? When you're young and you see your parents as an authority, you respect them. You have conviction in them. You trust them, right? That's why they have authority over you, because you truly feel like they know better than you, which is status. Status really is someone feeling like someone is better at something than you, therefore you going to them, right? All this, what's coming next, doesn't matter if you don't understand status. To influence people, you need to have authority, you need to have status. No one is going to be influenced by the homeless guy on the street. You're going to be influenced to walk around him, but you're not going to be influenced to actually want to learn from him. He's going to tell you, hey, I'm going to teach you how to build a business. I'm homeless. There's no status. There's no trust. There's no conviction that he can do it. And maybe there's respect, but there's no respect for his skill because you don't know what his skill is, right? So suppose you've got this down. Suppose you know in your marketing, in your beginning of your conversation, you know, when you're in your curiosity, in your attraction phase, where you're attracting customers, you're not in the process of arousing them yet and having them commit to you, But this is all, status is created in the curiosity and the attraction stage. A sale has 4 different stages. One, curiosity. Think about it. Think about a hot girl, right? You look on the street, you're like, who's that? And you look a little bit better. Now you're attracted, right? Now you talk to her. She has a sweet voice. She has a sweet personality. She's funny. She's kind. She's caring. Now you start getting aroused by her, right? Now the arousal is taking place. Then once we get past that arousal stage, you talk a little bit more, right? This is your dating process, and now you're committed. You commit to a certain action, status, authority. That's built into curiosity and attraction stage. That's your marketing. There has not been a conversation yet. The conversation still has to be there. There's not been any physical dialogue between you and your prospect, between you and the beautiful lady that you're actually seeing. This is what's needed to build that initial curiosity and attraction, status and authority. Now, let's say we have that down. People book a call. They're like, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to book a call. I'm ready to figure out if this attraction is real. I'm ready to figure out if this program can arouse me to take action. Now, what do we got to do to get a commitment? We got to build a connection in the arousal phase. But whilst we're building a connection in the arousal phase, there's a couple steps that we have to go through. Because what is necessary to get someone to take an action? Right? There is an action threshold. And whenever someone is taking action, that means that the cost of taking action is lower than the cost of taking no action. If you're thirsty, if you're a little bit thirsty, you're like, hey man, I'm sitting on a couch. I'm having such a good time watching. I don't know what people watch when they sit on the couch, but I'm having such a good time reading my book. I'm sitting on a couch. I'm having such a good time reading my book. I'm thirsty, but I'm not that thirsty. I want to keep reading because I'm learning. So the cost of inaction, of not getting water, is still bigger than the cost of action for you having to get out of there. The inaction, you're not thirsty enough yet. It's only once you're so thirsty that you just cannot sit down anymore that you have to get up. And once you're ready to get up, that's when the cost of inaction is greater than the cost of action, and you're ready to take the action you need to do. So everything that we do on that call, besides actually making a connection to the person, going through that arousal stage, building the value that we need to take to, at the end of the call, hopefully get a commitment, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that the cost of inaction becomes greater than the cost of action. Whenever someone takes the action threshold gets surpassed when the cost of inaction is greater than the cost of action. How do we do that? There's 3 super easy things you got to remember. You don't need techniques yet, because if you understand these, the techniques you're going to notice that the techniques are going to come naturally. So how do we do that? 1, we have to lower the risk. The lower the risk, the easier it is for someone to take an action. Let's say you're selling a coaching program where you teach people how to make money online. The lower the risk, the cost of inaction doesn't get changed, right? But the cost of action goes down because the risk is much lower, which means people take action quicker. So 1 is lower risk. 2, increase the pain or the consequence. If you want to make money online and you just want to do it because it's fun, but then you have to work 80 hours a week to hopefully make your first 1,000 bucks. Cost of inaction is like, if I don't do it, I'm having a little bit less fun. If I do it, I have to work so hard and I'm not even sure if I'm going to make it. Are you going to take action at that point? Absolutely not. So what do we got to do? We have lowered the cost of action. It's a lot easier to take action now than it was before. So what do we got to do? We got to raise the cost of inaction. And when you raise the cost of inaction, they feel like they need to act. So what do? We increase the pain. Why do you want to make money online though? Why do people want that? They want to have freedom, right? Do people not feel free right now? No, I fucking hate my job. Boom, little step up. You have to ask these questions because a lot of times people know subconsciously, but they're not consciously aware, or they don't even realize the consequences that are happening. Because if you fucking hate your job right now and you don't do anything, what's your life going to look like 5 years from now, man? Like, let's just be honest. Let's just say it like it is. If you stay in that fucking job where you can't support your wife, you told me you're not feeling like a man, I'm just being exaggerated here because I want people to get the point. You're not feeling like a man. You're not feeling like you're supposed to do. You're doing what you're supposed to do. What's the consequence of that if you don't do anything right now? And let me move down my camera a little bit. What's the consequence of you not doing anything right now? My wife might divorce me. Cost of inaction goes up. My kids might not be able, I might not be able to give my kids the life that I want to give them. Cost of inaction goes up. I might not be able to get the girl of my dreams, whatever it might be. Might not be able to take care of my mom to the extent I want to take care of my mom for, you know? I might not be able to do that. So every single time you increase the pain or you increase the consequence, cost of inaction goes up. We already lowered the risk, so the cost of action is going down. You can do this by lowering the perceived risk. In reality, let's say you're thinking about buying a coaching program, which is $5,000. You have conviction, you have trust, you have respect for the authority, you know the program can work. What is the worst that can happen? You lose $5,000 and maybe 20 years from now, you're like, man, at least I know I tried. Maybe 40 years from now, maybe when you're 80, what's the option? Let's say you're 80, you didn't spend that $5,000. You would have spent it on Walmart. You would have spent it in McDonald's. You would have done whatever with it. You would never know. And you would think, man, if only when I was younger, I would have tried. How low is the risk to spend 5K 80 years from now? Do you really think that $5,000 is going to harm you when you're looking back on life? At least now you're proud that you tried everything you could, even if you failed. How much lower of a risk is actually taking action and taking no action? Because at least when you take action, now you know whether you could or not. So we have a lower risk. So the cost of action is going down. We have increased pain and consequence. So the cost of inaction goes up. And then the last thing you can do to really nail this on the head and get people to take the action you want them to take is increase the upside. Because the downside, what we kind of said before is, hey, you can lose your $5,000, but really 80 years from now, 60 years from now, 40 years from now, when you're on your deathbed, is it really going to matter that $5,000? Probably it's not, because you would have spent it anyway in the club or something like that. So, but what is the other side? Let's say you take that action, right? Let's say you start that business, you give everything you have to it, everything you got in your soul, you do to make this business work. What's your life going to look like? Your wife is going to love you because you can take care of her. Your kids are going to love you because you can take care of them. Your kids can do whatever they need to do. You can do whatever you need to do. You can take care of your mom. You can take care of your dad. You can take care of everyone you want to take care of. You're driving your dream car that you want to dream. You're living such a beautiful life, right? If you do take the action, right? So lower risk. Actually, if you do, what's the worst that can happen? Increase pain or consequence. If you don't, what's your life going to look like? And then increase upside. If you do and you succeed, right? How amazing can life be? What could life look like? So when you really understand this, the dialogue is going to take place naturally. And let me tell you a little secret. You don't need a script necessarily. You can write this out. You can match your script up to make sure that you cover this, because these are must-haves to get someone emotionally committed. This is not logical commitment. I'm not talking about the logical aspects of a sale. I'm talking about the far less spoken about side of an actual sales process. And this can work for everyone. This is what needs to be done in marketing. This is what needs to be done. If you're a copywriter, you want more people to take action, lower risk, increase pain or consequence, and increase the upside if they actually do take action. It does not matter what you're selling. If you're selling supplements and you say to people, hey, if you use this supplement and you notice absolutely zero change in your blood values, we give you your money back. Lower risk. But if you don't do this, and you want people to understand, I'm not saying to say it like this, but if you don't do this, you're going to keep your high blood pressure for the rest of your life, taking maybe 5 to 10 years off your life. Just think about that. Would you rather see your grandkid become 5 or 15? Which one do you prefer? And then increase upside. With a lower blood pressure, you can not only live longer to see your kids, but you can actually do more with them and have a lot more fun. So it does not matter what you're selling. The cost of inaction has to be greater than the cost of action. You can do this by 3 things. Lower the cost of action. The lower the cost of action, the easier people take action. Number 2, raise the cost of inaction, which is already a lot better. Your life sucks if you don't take action, so just take the action. It sucks too, but it sucks less. And then 3, which is the best combination, raise the cost of inaction. You're gonna die if you don't do this. Lower the cost of action. And if you actually do, it's so simple to do it. And if you fail, you get your money back. So if you've actually learned from this, I would definitely subscribe because I'm gonna make a lot more content that is actually valuable rather than kind of the, oh, ask people how they're doing and ask people if they want to make a change. Like, sure, that's fun, has to happen. But you need to understand why you're asking this stuff, because when you are the person that can sell and you are the type of person that can persuade people, you don't need the scripts. You don't need to be a robot, and you can actually have real conversations. One, creating a lot more change, but two, actually having fun in this process. If you actually enjoyed this video, if you actually learned one small thing, the easiest thing to do is just hit the subscribe button, because maybe my next video, you'll learn another small thing, and you'll learn another small thing, and before you know, you have happy clients, you have a happy life, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and you'll be making a video helping someone else out, and they'll be doing the same. Thank you for watching. Deuces.